I mean, it's cold today, but I don't want to wear this jumper for the video, so it's just going to have to come off. So many of you may know that I was a welfare officer in my students' union, and during that time I spent a lot of time learning stuff, because as a welfare officer you're responsible for all the liberation campaigns. Not actually for necessarily running them yourself, but you're overseeing them. So generally when it comes to students, you've got liberation campaigns in LGBT, women, you've got what's called the Black Students Campaign, which would probably be now more referred to as BME, and you'd also have kind of more sectional campaigns such as postgraduates and international students and that kind of thing. Now, it may not have escaped your attention that I am a white, straight, male, home, I was an undergraduate student, and yes, I was the first in my family to actually go to university. But that qualification aside, there wasn't really much going for me in the liberation department. I was probably the most privileged person to be conducting anything to do with liberation. So why do I talk about liberation now? So I talk about LGBT stuff, I sometimes talk about feminism, but I think particularly LGBT, I learned a lot about when I was an elected officer. And there were so many facts and figures about LGBT and the history about it and where we are now and where other countries have got to. So for example, Australia just the other day passed into law that anybody can marry anybody, effectively equal marriage. Meaning for the first time men can marry men and women can marry women, or indeed I suspect any gender can marry any other gender, and there is no legal impediment to that. But during this time it became really apparent to me that I was just ignorant. I wasn't somebody who thought that gay people shouldn't exist, or black people were bad, or that women were a inferior gender. I never ever thought that. But that doesn't mean that I knew anything about the issues. I mean, given this, the students really shouldn't have elected me welfare officer. There were much better people who could do welfare stuff. I could do the housing and the sexual education and all the other stuff that welfare officer does, but not the liberation part. But luckily though, we had societies that basically ran campaigns, and I, through the students' union, gave them money. But being somebody who is an ally to these campaigns, being a supporter of these campaigns, and then not knowing anything about these campaigns, because why would I, made me think that probably, in fact almost certainly, a lot of other people like me don't know anything about this. And often they won't listen to somebody, you know, I'm not saying this is good, but they won't listen to somebody who isn't a white straight male telling them what the issues are. So I think it's important that I use my privilege to impart knowledge for people who are interested in this, who want to know more, but aren't going to go and watch videos or read books or go to meetings where there are people who are not like them there. And that's not to say those people are inherently bigoted or anything like that. I am not saying that at all, and I don't believe that. But most people need a stepping stone of sorts. I needed that stepping stone when I became the welfare officer. I learnt stuff because I had to. And I'm not trying to paint myself as the stepping stone that everybody needs to come to. But I think that by doing videos about liberation, by talking about it with friends, with work colleagues, with people who I meet in bars if I'm talking to them, and actually having the knowledge to impart to them is a stepping stone for them to go on to learn more about the situation and become more informed. So yes, I do intend to continue to talk about liberation, even though I don't really need liberating myself. Although having said that, I have learnt that I do need a bit of liberation from what people call the patriarchy, because I'm not really that kind of man. I'm not your stereotypical masculine man. And I'm not going to go into that too far because it is actually something I'm going to talk about in another video before the end of December. But it's definitely true that me learning about liberation issues has definitely improved my knowledge and has awoken me, because I think that's the term that you use nowadays, isn't it? I'm a woke man. Yes, it has awoken me to the issues and how they affect me as well as affect the traditional people that need the liberation. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Just down below, you can subscribe to me by clicking on my face in the sidebar, and please click on the playlist for Vlogmas, also in the sidebar, because I made lots of videos this month and I want you to watch them. Thanks for watching, everybody. I shall see you in a couple of days. Bye-bye.